one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, hello, we're back for episode 21. Tonight, you'll notice that the lovely co-host of mine, Doc Martin, is not here this weekend. She is out with an illness, so in her place we have Kimmy Jong-un Y Censored as our special co-host tonight.
Hello, everyone. I will not be able to replace the queen bee, but I will warm her seat for her for an hour or less.
Alrighty, so we're going to get right into it, Kimmy. We're going to get right on the tweets that Doc sent me. Let's see what we have today. First one we have is, how about I open it up? Is from, Angie, one of our viewers sent this in. It says, so much winning, and it's a retweet of Donald Trump. Wow, big victory on the wall. United States Supreme Court overturns lower court injunction, allows southern border wall to proceed. Big win for border security and rule of law. So that was huge. I think that came down on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. What do you think about that, Kim?
Okay, so I'm already failing because I was telling everybody hello and giving Doc a kiss, and so I don't know what you said.
Okay, it's all right. It was in regard to Angie's retweet of the President Trump's tweet about the Supreme Court decision on the border wall.
Yes. Okay, I have to say that when that happened, I was surprised because I thought it had already happened. I didn't, I know that we were waiting on it. No, I think that maybe I thought that it had already happened, but I didn't realize it had gone to the Supreme Court or something. And so anyway, I'm glad that it happened. I'm obviously glad about that. I think it's time to build that wall for sure. I think we need national security and all that stuff. So it's just more winning. It's just, maybe I'm just used to winning.
Well, I think what was happening was every lower court, if you shop around for the right judge, you can find a judge that will agree with the Democrats, and that is exactly what was happening. That's why it ended up in the Supreme Court. Judge shopping is just become the norm for Democrats and liberals, isn't it?
It's true. And I mean, I guess you can't blame them. Like, if you really want something to be a certain way and you know that you can't legally make it happen that way, then maybe to find someone that you can bribe, then I guess, that's kind of how things are done. But I think it's too bad. And I think it's good that we're taking back America because we're learning how to, we're learning how things were supposed to be. Because all this time, I used to think that I lived under a lot more freedom than I actually lived under. It was like an illusion in some ways. And I think that we're learning that we really didn't have the freedoms that we thought we had. If they wanted to take them away, they could. And we're taking that stuff back.
Exactly. The sad part of it all is every time they judge shop, they're just wasting taxpayer dollars. Because they know that, what the law is, but they're still going to go out there, spend the money, find a judge that'll do exactly what they want, which is not by the law. And then, the fact that it's got to go up to the Supreme Court, imagine the millions of dollars it costs us every year, every time they do this.
Well, I think that's what they count on. I think they count on it won't go to the next level. A lot of people, I think, don't even know that there is a Supreme Court, much less know that they can actually have their cases heard there. And then you have to have the money, you have to have, the time and all that stuff. So depending on who you are, you might not take your case up. But a lot of these cases are fake anyway.
Exactly. Exactly right. It's gotten ridiculous. It's just to me, it's just a waste of money, taxpayer dollars, but it's not their money, right? So.
Well, and they're pretending that things like Hawaii is being negatively affected because of our border. Hawaii Hawaii does not give a shit about our border.
Hawaii. Those rubber rafts go a long way to Hawaii, right?
No. I think they're riding AOC's train to Hawaii.
Next we'll see
Golf farts.
there'll be a family washed up on the beach in Hawaii and say, see, it's Trump's fault. Yeah.
That's
Good
right.
grief. Okay, our next tweet is, and I cut off who it's from, so I apologize, whoever it is. But it's true though. Old fake American treasonous bastard. Remember when Obama had a military parade? And I know you can't see these, Kimmy, but it is ISIS with a bunch of pickup trucks waving their ISIS flags. So
Yeah, on the screen, on the Periscope screen. Oh yeah, he did have a military parade, didn't he?
yes, what most people don't realize is they were funding and supplying ISIS.
They were.
Hard to beat a terrorist group when you're supplying them, right?
That's right. And the president, the current president, actually said that during the debates. He said that Obama created ISIS, and I think he meant it very literally.
I think everybody knows at this point, except for the left. They just don't want to believe it or see it, apparently. Although I think most Democrats are reasonable, and the proof is the Time magazine poll that showed Obama as the worst president since World War II.
Okay.
Coming out of Time magazine, I thought that was a shocker.
That isn't. Was this recent?
That was about a month and a half ago. I'm trying to remember when it was, but about a month and a half ago. Time magazine poll had Obama as the worst president since World War II.
That is interesting. That's very encouraging to me to hear that people are seeing that or understanding that it really did kind of suck.
Well, that goes back to my thought that just because you've been a lifelong Democrat doesn't mean you're completely a lunatic and unreasonable like the four horsemen are. Horsewomen, I should say. The squad, right?
Squad. Ugh. That's one of the things, like it's sort of like goes back to what we were talking about with Chris on the speakeasy, but like some of the things that I think maybe would piss me off under other circumstances really don't, because I'm so happy to see this stuff get exposed and for people to be seen for who and what they are. So these four horsewomen of the apocalypse aren't upsetting me because they are getting exposed. Now I do have a fear, and that fear is, Chink Younger is a big, I think we talked about this before, about how he is a big supporter of them, not supporter even, but like he's backing them maybe. And what's the name of the
Justice Democrats?
Justice. And so that's the only fear that I have of them, is that they're paving the way for the narrative and for people to believe it. So I feel like I might be talking too much.
Well, here's my thought on that, and I think Doc and I might disagree a little bit on this, but if you look at their polling numbers out of their own districts, even the people that voted for Cortez, only 13% of people who voted for Cortez would vote for her again. That's telling. So if their plan was to get more progressives, or I don't even call them progressives, I call them socialists. If their plan was to get more Cenk Uyghur socialists elected, it's not working. Because if only 13% of people in her district would vote for her again, she's in serious trouble. She's not going to be reelected. And if that's a sentiment across her district, imagine what it is across other districts. I mean, sensible Democrats will not vote for socialists.
Okay, I agree with you to a degree. I agree with you, except that I think that her narrative is paving, or her people hearing her ideas, she's planting those ideas into people's minds, and then the next time they hear them, they're going to make more sense, and they may eventually. That's the only thing that I've got the fear of, is that when she and the others get voted out, which I believe they will, when they get voted out, although it'd be sad to see her go because she's so funny, make fun of. But like once they get voted out, I think that there's going to be more coming in behind them that actually might get elected, because the public has been prepared for that kind of thinking.
Well, I don't think the people that
I
would
think
get
that's their
elected,
idea.
the people that would get elected behind her would be half of what she is, right?
Okay.
It wouldn't
Maybe so.
they because if you come in as radical as Omar or AOC, you're not going to win because look, 13% of people who voted for her won't vote for her again. So you can't come in with the same lunacy as the four of them, right? But you're going to come in with 50% of the lunacy, right? So I see your point, but they're building up to something else, but it has to come in slowly. People won't accept that craziness all at once, right?
Well, see, and see, there's where I disagree with myself because I do that often, by the way. I disagree with myself in what I just said because I believe is that is the plan, that they're planting the seeds and hoping they'll grow. But I also believe that on the other side that patriotism is making a comeback and that people are sick and tired of the BS. And so I think that as people wake up and as the left gets exposed for who and what they are, that their chance of actually making that plan work is going to die.
Yeah, that's how I see it. I mean, they've gone so far to the socialist left. I think that was a miscalculation on Cenk Uyghur's part from the Young Turks, was that we'll go full-blown socialist and that'll work. But I just don't see that working. I think Trump's America First message is a lot stronger, and you know, whether you like Democrats or not, there are quite a few of reasonable Democrats that aren't lunatics. That's only 15% at best, right, of the Democrat Party.
I think so, yeah, at best. But they're allowed and magnified. I think the mainstream media amplifies their voice.
I think that's a good thing in a way. It's exposing the entire Democrat Party to this now. The entire Democrat Party is being tied to four lunatics, right? And that's why Trump keeps bringing them up. He's not going to let that go.
Yep. Well, you know what? I love how he calls them the four congresswomen, because it is reminiscent of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. And I do believe that this is a good versus evil situation. And so I think that it's bringing people into that realization that we're talking about serious stuff here. We're not just talking about people who I don't like. What are you laughing at?
Doc Martin, I'm a little under the weather tonight. I'll be back next week to Phil's chagrin.
Phil will be happy to have you back.
Yeah. Next tweet is from Jordan Sather, I guess his name is.
Yeah.
U.S. Customs just seized a ship owned by J.P. Morgan after authorities found $1 billion worth of drugs on it. Oh, this story was huge, right? So J.P. Morgan has been screwing this country for well over a century now. It's seriously going down. So, and he's got a link to the article from marketsbusinessinsider.com if you want to read that. But
yeah,
what
that's
do you
your
think about that?
J.P. Morgan. I mean, their family goes back to the Titanic, if I'm right. I mean, these are people. These are their people. Some of the people.
Yeah, you know, I don't know exactly legally what culpability J.P. Morgan Chase has with this ship. I think they finance it or something to that effect. I don't know if they run it exactly. Boy, if you could tie the actual bank to that ship and smuggling, can the Fed seize it? I mean,
yeah. And was Chase Manhattan? Are you talking about Chase Manhattan related to J.P. Morgan? Is that all tied in together?
I'm not sure if Chase Manhattan's involvement. I'm sure of their involvement, but what I'm saying is, if they tie J.P. Morgan Chase to some culpability for the ship, beside financing the company that uses that ship, or does J.P. Morgan actually own that ship?
I have no idea, man. I'm just thinking when you're saying that, it makes me think of the patriots who have been demonetized by literal banks. It makes me wonder if they were connected to that at all. I hadn't thought about that yet, but don't really have an opinion. But I'm just wondering.
Yeah, that's interesting because Laura Loomer has been knocked out by Chase, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
They don't want any of this coming out, right?
they don't. They're panicking.
Yes, absolutely.
Panic, panic, panic.
Next tweet. We did that, Jordan Sather. Let's read that one. This one is an article from Breitbart. Donald Trump confirms Sunday ICE raids were focused on criminals. And from what I'm hearing, that's all they're arresting, right? Is people who have criminal records and were ordered out of the country anyway. We just never did it.
Yeah, well, and yes, and the thing is that like I still adhere to the crazy notion that if you break into a house, that you are now a criminal, whether you've been caught yet or not, is not relevant. You broke into a house, you have committed a crime. So I think that even if that's not true, that I'm okay with it either way. You know what I'm saying?
But they're immigrants. Don't you care? You're separating families.
I know.
So,
if they were white, then I would have a different opinion.
Who was it? Burgess Owens, who said that you're separating criminals from their families, right? If you rob a bank, you get separated from your children, right?
That's right.
And most of these people are MS-13 gang members, and they've already got a criminal record. They were previously ordered out of the country, so I don't understand what the fight is about. But the Democrats seem to be fighting for illegals over anybody else in this country.
Well, and I think that they need to take their spark of divinity back to their homeland and make it better, make it a better place.
Are you saying go back home?
I'm saying Nancy Pelosi says they have a spark of divinity, and America is such a horrible place, and we hate brown people. They should go back to their house and be nice to the people there and make their little country better.
What's the saying? Make sure your own house is in order before you something like that, right? Put your own house in order.
Sweep off your own porch before you start making fun of mine.
Is that a Southern saying?
Something like that. Take the splinter out of your eye. I don't know. Log. It just said something like that too.
Next tweet is we have one from Donald Trump. The Dow and S&P 500 and Nasdaq all closed this week at a new record high. Another record high. That one, I'm not so concerned about the Dow, and I know people's retirement. People who are retiring have 401ks, make money, but there's always a bubble that bursts, right? So that one kind of concerns me. Fortunately, it doesn't look like the Fed's going to raise rates, which would cause that bubble to burst, right?
Right. Well, and they were talking about raising rates, and the president pointed out that, like, why would you do that just because things are going well? Why do you need to adjust it? Why do we adjust things when they're going well? I don't know. This is me talking as someone who can't balance my checkbook. So I don't have qualifications to have an opinion for this.
You can't balance the checkbook?
I can.
You deserve to be in Congress then. You should be in Congress.
I could totally be on the finance committee with Maxine Waters.
Oh, good grief. I wouldn't last a week. The sergeant at arms would be dragging me out.
At least as qualified as she is.
But if he went in and said, MP 45, you'd be all set. You'd be a millionaire by the time you left 2 years after.
That's true. It doesn't take much more than that.
No, AOC's a millionaire now, right?
I bet she can have all the garbage disposal she wants.
What's that? Oh, next one up is Democrats give illegal aliens tips on how to avoid arrests and ICE raids. That's from Breitbart.
Is that even?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kimmy.
I'm just wondering, like at what point does it become illegal? Because Americans aren't allowed to commit crimes. So if we have Americans telling them how to commit crimes, then like at what point is the American going to get in trouble for doing that?
Isn't that called aiding and abetting at some point?
I think so. I don't really know. But I know that if I have one in my house, not an illegal alien because you're allowed to harbor them, but if I have a normal criminal, like an American criminal in my house, I can get in trouble for it. So I think I'm going to move to Mexico and get citizenship and then come back over here and then just do whatever the heck I want to do.
Well, then you'll get free stuff.
Yeah.
Right? That's how it works, isn't it?
I think so.
So, yeah, I've heard other people say the same thing. Why not just renounce my American citizenship and head over to Mexico, sneak over the border, and then I'm set for life.
Yeah.
Next up, we have a video about ICE, and let's see if I can get it to play. Hold on. Don't play so fast. Let me find the window. That ain't it. Oh, I don't know where my window went.
It's called accessory to a crime.
Ah, here we go. So this is a video from ICE. Now, all that is, Kimmy, is a video that ICE is, it's kind of sad that they have to advertise that they're removing criminals to try to sway public opinion, although public opinion of ICE is not as bad as the 4 congresswomen, right? Their rating is lower than ICE's at this point, so.
That's what it should be.
I think most Americans get it. That ICE is not some evil organization of brown shirts. I think that's what Talib calls them, brown shirts, that round up poor innocent immigrants. She neglects to call them illegals and criminals. Right. That's not what they are. These are hardworking people who actually have a pretty darn tough job.
They do. They do, and it's very insulting when they spend their lives, their careers, trying to, like, they're not just trying to protect our country, which they are, but they're not only doing that, they're also trying to do it in a humane way. They're taking care of these people. Most of the people in ICE, I can't remember the number now, but I want to say it was like 75% are Latino anyway. These are people that care about the people they're caring for. They're not just like rounding them up and shoving them in a basement and locking the door. The only reason that they're not being better taken care of is because they're not allowed the funds and the things that they need in order to do so. And the reason they're not allowed to have those things is because the Democrats won't let them have them. And the reason Democrats won't let them have them is because they want them to be mistreated so they can blame it on the president. That's all it is. I went all the way to the beginning.
Yeah. Good job, Kimmy. Okay.
That's the whole thing. They don't care about these people. They do not care about them.
They don't. They're using them as a political football right now to perpetuate the false narrative that Trump is a racist, right? That's all it's about. But I think most Americans aren't buying it anymore. Just because he's deporting people who sneak into the country illegally, which most 90% plus of legal immigrants agree with the president. If you snuck in here, you should be sent back.
Yeah. Well, and the thing that, speaking of legal immigrants, the thing that bothers me is, and it's bothered me for years, is that when you allow an influx of illegal immigrants or aliens to the point that it creates, I don't know the word for it, but like it just makes the rest of the population mad at them. I can't think of the word. Makes us mad at them. Well, now we're going to associate immigration, just as a society, we're going to begin to associate immigration in general between legal and illegal. We're not going to differentiate. And so now you're talking to a legal person, and a lot of times you're just going to assume that they're here illegally because it's become such an issue. And that's not fair to the people who did it right.
100% agreed.
I think I was supposed to be laughing and talking about happy things.
Who's saying that?
I think Doc is usually laughing and talking about happy things, and I'm being mad.
No, that's okay. You're doing fine. Next one up. We have some recent news here from the Doc sent from the White House. It's a little bit more about immigration, which is kind of the Ladies of Liberty's forte, but we'll play this one. Oh, we'll play it. Play. Why won't you play? It's from the president, so probably why it won't play.
Very important man
There we go.
in Guatemala, the Minister Enrique Degenhardt. We are doing a very important signing. It's a historic asylum or safe third agreement between our two countries. It's a very important event. We've long been working with Guatemala, and now we can do it the right way. It's going to be terrific for them and terrific for the United States. This landmark agreement will put the coyotes and the smugglers out of business. These are bad people. These are very, very bad, sick, deranged people who make a lot of money off other people's miseries. It's going to provide safety for legitimate asylum seekers and stop asylum fraud and abuses system. And I'm thrilled to be with.
So that was a video from the president regarding his deal with Guatemala. It's kind of sad that the president has to go around Congress. I mean, this is legal, what he's doing. He's signing agreements with other countries to stop illegal immigration.
Did you see the message from Ben in the chat? He says,
no, I
I
didn't.
worked in agriculture. I made $1 or $2 more than the illegals, but his was taxed. So he took home less. Well, I finished that last part. I assume that's what he's saying.
Well, that would be right, because the government takes 25%, right? Between Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, whatever else, FICA, whatever the hell that is.
Yeah.
Then your state taxes.
Which, let's just go ahead and say taxation is.
Theft.
There you go. I was waiting. I was beginning to wonder.
Yes, taxation is theft.
What kind of conservative are you?
I was trying to read what Beth Duffy said. At Phil D'Angelo Young June who? I don't know what she's saying.
Oh, Kimmy Jong-un is what she's talking about.
Oh,
probably.
Okay. Next tweet here is from... Oh, no, we did that. Tips on removing how to avoid arrest by ICE. Next one is from Breitbart. Court allows Trump administration rule ending funds to abortion providers to proceed. So Trump has said that Planned Parenthood will be defunded. And that was taken to court. And again, the Democrats lost. They were overruled again in court.
I'm loving this. Do you know how long we went being, I don't, but it was a long time, how long we went being overruled in the things that we wanted that were constitutional? And now that we have judges in place that do care about the Constitution, that things are happening. And regardless of a person's thoughts on abortion, that matters, that we have people in the Supreme Court that will just say, okay, this is or is not constitutional, period. Why should the American people, why should I have to pay for a shrimp to exercise on a treadmill? Why should I have to pay for an abortion? Why should I have to pay for this or that? Regardless of your opinion on whether shrimp should exercise or whether women should have abortion.
Shrimp should exercise. That was, yes, you're right.
Yeah, the question as it comes to the Supreme Court, in my opinion, is whether, as far as this particular one goes, is whether we should have to pay for it as a society. And I don't think we should. If I want an abortion, that's between me and God and my checkbook, not yours.
Yes. And my thoughts, and I've said it before on the show, was any non-for-profit that receives federal tax dollars should not be able to donate to any political party.
Oh my gosh, I know. And do churches, do they donate to parties too? Or is this just a Planned Parenthood?
I think it's any nonprofit like Planned Parenthood. And I don't even care if it's a conservative organization. I don't think any organization out there that receives federal tax dollars should be allowed to donate to any campaign.
Well, I agree, because that is the citizen, that would be the citizens of the United States collectively, on accident, without their knowledge or permission, promoting a party that they either do or don't agree with.
And it's the same thing with unions too, right? You think about the teachers union. Between your union dues and teachers receive your tax dollars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Their union dues go to a union that donates to, well, 99% of the time, the Democrat Party.
Right. Well, because they're all for socialism, the unions and the Democrat Party.
Exactly. That's why the union continually provides funding, and that's what they're doing, is providing your tax dollars to keep Democrats in office so that they can keep their system of grifting up, right?
That's right. That's right. And a lot of people have gotten killed for that to keep happening too. You want to go into the mafia?
And we always hear
corruption when it comes to people taking money.
We always hear our education system in America is broken, it's terrible, and all we do is throw more money at it. And what happens? It gets worse.
Right.
And who elects the people? Who sends the money? The unions, the very unions that are involved in the worst education system in the world, according to some Democrats. The very unions, like New York State Union of Teachers, fund nothing but Democrats. And I've seen their literature that they send out around election time and about who they're donating to, and it's all Democrats.
But they need our money so they can teach our children how to read. They need more.
Yes.
They need more money.
It's just, I don't know, it's a never-ending cycle unless we break that up. They're always talking about how the big corporations are donating money, or the banks. Let's look at the unions. Let's look at Planned Parenthood. Let's look at some of these organizations that are receiving public funding. And I don't care how you slice it. You can keep saying teachers union is not publicly funded. Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. It absolutely is, because without your tax dollars through school taxes, it wouldn't exist, right?
And it's also like the pressure that they put on an employee that works for a teacher. If you work for a place that has a union available, whether it's UPS or teachers or, I don't know, postal workers, I don't know who all has unions, they still like you're not forced, but you are strong. It's strongly suggested, everything short of putting a horse head in your bed, to that you have to be a part of that union. And it takes a lot of people. Like it's hard for people to not give into that pressure. but some people don't. That's good.
And don't dare question where the money goes. My father worked for a company, a factory here in Utica, New York. He went to one union meeting, and he said they were talking about the money they were going to give the candidates, politicians. And he said, what if I don't like that politician? They told him to shut up and sit down and don't speak again. And he said that was the last union meeting he went to. And after that, he was against unions. He said, I don't like that candidate. I don't want my money going there. And they told him to shut up and sit down and don't ever speak again.
See, and the thing is, though, is even if he did like the candidate, why does the union get to choose where his money goes?
Exactly.
Like maybe just let him write a check.
Right.
Candidate. Or not. This is America.
That's why it's like a giant, I don't want to say Ponzi scheme, but like I'm trying to think of the word. I've said it before on the show, but it's like taking someone else's money, like a money laundering operation. The politicians ensure these unions or these organizations like Planned Parenthood get money, and in turn, these organizations put money back in their coffers.
Yeah.
They got to do something about that. Unions are like HOAs. Yeah, they are.
I do not live in an HOA, and I'm so very happy about that. I get to pick my own mailbox color.
Next one is Charlie Kirk. Sick. Democrats in Nancy Pelosi's House have now blocked the GOP's Born Alive Infant Protection Act from getting a vote 69 times in 6 months. Imagine fighting that hard to stop a beating heart after a child's born. So that was the Born Alive Act. They've blocked it 69 times now.
That is a hard fight, isn't it? That's a very good point that he says, imagine fighting that hard to stop a beating heart. I can't see all of it because of the bubbles, but that is, I didn't realize.
And look how hard they're fighting for 5 murderers. I mean, these people are you want to talk about deplorable? These 5 murderers are pure evil. If you read, what they did, but they're fighting to keep these people alive.
Yeah, you have to question the motives of someone who will fight 69 times, and I'm trying not to make that dirty, 69 times to kill babies, like, and not just like babies who were created through rape or incest or who have whose mothers are sick and might die. Not even those babies, but babies who are literally born. Right?
I believe I'm wrong. I might be wrong, but I thought it was less than 1% of abortions were from those rare instances of incest, rape.
Yeah, no, I do believe that you're right about that. It's not a very high number, but I mean, like the idea that they're fighting this hard in order to be able to end the life of a baby, and we're not even talking about the ones that some people are on the fence about whether that's okay. We're talking about the ones where, like how do you even reconcile in your head that it's okay to kill a baby that has been born?
I don't get it.
That's not even an abortion.
No, if the baby's alive and born and the heart's beating, I just don't get it. It's just it's just insane that you're going to fight for 5 psychopaths that murdered people, but you're not going to fight for a baby that did nothing to anyone.
Well, but they'll fight for it to die. That's
Yes.
it. Yeah, but you're right. I used to make a sick joke, not really anyway, that The Democrats didn't think that a baby was a human until it sucked in air, but they don't even think that anymore. They don't think you're a human until your mom has actually decided if she's going to kill you or not.
Well, you saw some of the videos, like I think Crowder did a video where he asked people, when is a baby a person? And some people actually believe not until you name it. I mean, really? Until it gets a name or it gets a social security number. You can't make this stuff up.
People really think that? For real?
Yes.
Oh, that's very disheartening, I have got to say.
Yep. You need a social security number or a name, or you're not a person.
That's Orwellian. I mean, until the government has recognized your existence and has tagged you with a number, you don't count.
That's where we've gotten to. Now, mind you, these are young college kids. You know,
Yeah,
obviously
well,
their opinions change as they get older, right?
Yeah.
But this is what they're teaching in school. That's why they're fighting so hard to get rid of pronouns. Right?
Yeah. So I saw a meme that was really funny. I'm going to send it to you. Go ahead. Keep talking.
Oh, okay. I'm going to pull up the next tweet here. Okay, this is good news after we just hit everybody with some bad news. Breitbart article, Trump, boom, America created 224,000 jobs in June. Wow, that's pretty impressive for June.
That is impressive.
And our last quarter was 2.3% growth GDP for, I think it's for 3 of the weaker months of the year, right? Spring.
Again, we're talking money, so I'm not qualified to answer these questions. I barely know what GDP stands for, and it is gross domestic product.
Well, it's so good that Doc would want to go up and squeeze him until his eyeballs pop out. So.
I sent that to you. If you like it, you can show it, and if you don't, then you don't have to.
Oh, you sent it on Telegram? Ah, okay.
Yeah, and don't mess up your flow though.
Okay. 1 second, Kimmy. I'll get it. It is
A little dank.
save. Okay, let's see where it is. Where'd it go? I just had it. Where'd it go?
It's okay, because you know what? It's almost 10. It is 10.
Oh, I got it. It's up on the screen now. There it is. Transgenders be like, age 10, I hate girls. Age 20, looks like a girl. Age 30, rip, suicide victim. Age 300, these bone structures tell us that this was a male. That's pretty funny.
Like, you can call yourself whatever you want to, but in 300 years, the archaeologists are going to tell people that you were what you were born as, your bone structure.
100%. Well, Kimmy, unbelievable. It's almost 11 o'clock Eastern time. I think you're Eastern time too, as well, right?
I'm Central.
Oh, Central. So it's only 10 o'clock there.
Smack dab in the middle of Mississippi.
So, coming up next is James R. and Ladies of Liberty. Don't forget to watch Tamara Lee with Brent Hamachek. I won't say it like Chris. Brett Hammer.
Is that
The Daily Boogie with Boogie Bumper, Monday through Friday at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. My Favorite Things with Kimmy Jong-un. Kim Y Censored on Thursday night at 11 p.m., right? Was I right? Thursday at 11?
Thursday, 11 Eastern.
And Kimmy, you want to give them any information about your show?
Sure. Yeah. At @ycensored_ for Periscope. Follow me. And this week I'm having Chris Mack on. And if he does what I told him to do, then we're going to talk about spiritual warfare. So that's going to be pretty interesting. If he doesn't do what I told him to do, then we're going to talk about whatever we talk about.
Ben Veritas. Yes, some people do care about Eastern time. Sorry. Don't forget.
Yeah, I don't know why everybody chooses Eastern time as the way to tell us what time it is.
Because we're more important.
Go with Greenwich Mean Time.
We're more important.
No, you're not.
The 13 original colonies were on the East. Without the East, there wouldn't be the West. Or the South. Just saying.
Okay. I'll let you have that because we're running short of time. Did you mention the TAV show?
Oh, TAV show Sunday night at it depends on when they get started.
At Who Knows 30. I think it's like midnight Eastern.
Midnight? They were on at 7 at one point, and I think it's moved around a little bit, but somewhere around midnight you'll see the TAV show. Friday night, Pirate Radio with Chris Mack, one of his 900 shows he's on. The Mac Files on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I think I got them all. Oh, no. The Tack Attack on at Wednesday, I want to say 8:30 Eastern Time.
Maybe. I don't even know what time anybody comes on, really.
Tack Attack is Wednesday, and I think it's 8:30. Did I get them all?
We're having a time zone fight in the chat. I'm loving it.
Only on our show would we have a time zone fight. And, you know, everybody say a prayer for Doc Martin that she gets better from her illness. She might have caught the Black Plague going out wherever she was.
She's too sweet to be sick.
Yeah. Doc, too sweet to be sick?
I think it's karma for all the hell she's been giving her woodpeckers, to be honest.
That's right. She should have left those woodpeckers alone. This for you, Doc. All right. So, Ladies of Liberty just popped on, so we're going to say goodnight. Night, Kimmy. Thank you for joining.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for asking me to be on. Thank you, Doc. We love you.
Yes. Thank you very much for coming on, Kimmy. You did a great job. Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining out there, all the viewers. And be sure to catch us on Speakeasy. We forgot our own show on Saturday night at 8:30 next week. I forgot my own show. And then, of course, Promises Kept right after that.
All right.